Hey everybody, it's your boy, and I'm streaming again. I think the last stream was only 1 or 2 weeks ago, so actually I've improved when I said that I would stream more, so like, good on me. And with me is an old friend. You've not seen him on this channel for a while. How you doing, Rock Thot?
I love N-words.
I love you too.
Thank you. All right, I love 1/8 N-words.
Quarter, damn it.
Whatever.
So, like, how is things? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Still working from home and then trying to do all my stuff online, hobbying stuff in between seeing my girlfriend. So work-life balance is
Wales or is that Corbs? I don't know.
They're both in Wales.
Oh God.
Neither of them are Welsh though. It's really weird.
Oh, did they go uni there or something, right?
No, they live there. They both live there. It just happens that neither of them are actually Welsh.
That's weird.
The elimination of the Welsh people continues since they're just English anyway.
Yeah, West English people, you know, West Saxons.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when Wales isn't a country.
Exactly, it's a principality. So we're gonna split the stream into two, basically. So we'll talk about one story then the other. Although there is a slight, tiny little story that Haryan reckon we could talk about. And I may have to go briefly to go collect some food. Mm-hmm. They'll be delivering. So when I get the shout, I have to go down and go get it.
I'm sure I can entertain chat for you.
Oh yeah, I can always reheat it, like, you know, after the stream. Look, it'll still be fresh anyway because it'll be like in half an hour or something. Yeah. So just a little bit of warning for everyone.
Takes me back to student living.
Exactly. So let's go with the mini story first, and that is poor old Saffron has had to leave Twitter for unknown reasons. She
didn't have to leave. She took the choice to. I mean, this whole stream's basically talking about basically yesterday. There just seems to be it kind of. I mean, we've been seeing this coming for a while, but there's been quite a shift in the right wing, especially on in online spheres.
Yeah,
and yeah, Saffron, I think, just was kind of like the real world's just better than the internet.
In many ways, it is, and in many ways, it isn't.
I have to agree with yes, but I do also. There's too much positive stuff on that. Whenever there's negative stuff, I do just, you know, if say someone like Morgoth makes a tweet about me and then I get raided by a bunch of wignuts or whatever, I just kind of like I either ignore it or just constantly make jokes about it, and I think that's the best way to go about it. Just whatever happens to you, turn it positive in any way you can. Which is how I try and react to everything. And Saffron was doing that for ages, but you know, I think, you know, she's got a boyfriend, she's got all the hobbies, she's got businesses, and she just left uni. And it's when you leave uni, obviously, it's a massive pivot in your life. And one of those things she did was leave Twitter as well, which I can understand because the right wing it's been pretty cancerous for a while, really, because you know the right wing doesn't exist really. You've just got
it's normal people and weirdos versus the left.
Yeah, basically.
I support the decision. If she wants to leave, she can leave. I mean, if it's better for her mental health and doing what she wants to do, that's fine by me.
I mean, I miss a schizo posting, but you know,
she should have posted at least a few more cute animal pictures before, you know. So anyway, let's get on. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say I might buy some. If she's still got a sticker thing going on Etsy, I'll definitely probably get some more just to be like, you know, hello, remember me.
She should do custom ones. That's what she should do.
Well, maybe.
So we got that guy, that crime guy, and they said that guy crime in the chat. Then the South no. We've got Mergu, who was unsubbed by YouTube, but he's now back. Good to see you again, sir. Zen, who's asking us what the fuck we're up to.
Bitching about the right wing.
Well, basically, we're just going to be fun.
Not bitching, but yeah, enjoying the drama.
And our Lord Kizza is here as well.
The Danish Emperor himself.
Yes.
So
apparently Crusader Dick is gone. Apparently, breaking news.
Yeah,
but that'll have to be a separate video or stream or whatever.
Yeah, I might cover it tomorrow. Actually,
let's get into the drama. Yeah,
let's get right into the news.
So the first one, and I'll just try and share my screen for y'all. Which one is it? This one. So this guy, can you see that? Good. Yes, you can.
Yeah, I can see that.
So this comes from OnlyFans girls posting their L's online, because this guy had the most comprehensive take on it. Like, he just gives you the rundown of what's happened. So this is the guy and the gal that we will be discussing in the first part of this stream. This is Achilles. And apparently, according to OnlyFans posting their L's online, he's some kind of right-wing alpha who apparently has fallen in love with an OnlyFans model to the extent that they were now getting engaged. Yet he's never met her, and she's never met him. And people go on, yeah.
Well, this has probably given a lot of hope to a lot of simps out there, which is a good thing.
Even the right-wing alpha males will fall for an OnlyFans person. Now, there's some things I can't show you, even though he's censored this particular picture. But apparently, this girl was cheated on by her ex with a girl, and she was so depressed that she made an OnlyFans, because that's just what you do, right? That's
a interesting coping mechanism.
Like, it's not like you may be in dire straits financially and you think, well, I can't get a job or whatever, so I'll just do that for a bit. Fair enough. I understand. But no, she decided to make an OnlyFans, and she cheated. I think her ex cheated with somebody who had an OnlyFans. I don't know. She doesn't write English very well. You win. I had an OnlyFans. My ex cheated with a girl, with an OnlyFans girl. I think that's what she says. Then she found Jeebus because they just happened to find our Lord, Jesus Christ. Just happened to. It's convenient, isn't it, that they do?
I mean,
and then all this shit happens.
I mean, people do find Jesus. I get what you're saying. It's kind of it. If you've never met her once and she had an OnlyFans, how are you talking? To, why are you proposing? Three, she's, how much money did you send her? And how much did you send after she said she found Jesus? Because this is just gonna, if she's lying to you, that's gonna make her keep lying. It's like, I lie, I get a bit of money. But this one, I don't know the details, but this does seem a bit sus.
So she apparently had to admit all this because they got brigaded by, I guess, some of the people he must know online. Because they're like, what the fuck?
Incel asylum.
He must be the iDubbbz of his little group online or something. Because that's what happened to iDubbbz when his girlfriend did that.
Oh god, yeah.
And so then he responds to somebody saying, depends if she's a virgin. You'll get women who got run through by an entire football team and then say they found Jesus and then waiting for marriage. So he's a hypocrite then. So he's married. He wants to marry this girl who's probably done that very thing. Or at least has an OnlyFans.
Sounds
but
like
he doesn't like the women who do that. But remember, guys, we don't know her like he does. But as OnlyFans posting their L say, we both know the same about her, motherfucker, because just like us, you haven't met her. So apparently they yeeted themselves online, so they disappeared because they couldn't take the tar and feather in. That was happening. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no, it gets darker, guys. So she's a mum. And
I knew that.
I didn't know that until just now, literally.
I think the baby.
Oh my god. What the
I think the baby's mixed race as well, but it's like, yeah.
I mean, you can't tell from there, but that's really bad. Yeah. Like, they should have the kid should have I think it's a girl, she should have a cot. Why is she on the floor?
I think she's supposed to be on that mattress, but
yeah. So she rolled over, but it doesn't look.
Yeah.
It's not good luck, is it? You're not going to make it, girl. Just to quote the thoughts. Oh, I'm not going to show you
that. It was censored, but yes.
I know it is censored, but yeah. Risque. Ooh.
It's like, don't get yourself a girl who's don't get a girl who's ever done porn or ever done OnlyFans. I do mean ever. These women should stay single the rest of their life. I mean, obviously, okay, there might be exceptions where they've truly changed and they're basically nuns, but basically never happens. So, because we need enforced monogamy, as Mr. Peterson says.
people definitely do change because there's a lot of former like porn stars, male and female, from like the 70s and the 80s who did their thing, and then they went on to different industries entirely. Like some of them became psychologists or ended up working in retail or whatever, and they've ended up with families,
Yeah.
So like, eventually they do. Eventually, some of them do change. So like, but it depends on the person, obviously. But that's the reason. That's what I've read. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely was too harsh there.
Well, people like her, no, I don't think so.
Well, it takes time to change your image and stuff. You can't do a Mia Khalifa and just be like, never mention that 3 months I did porn. You got to be more like Sasha Grey, who just goes on Twitch and kind of jokes about it, but it's just completely, basically wholesome now. So.
Although, it feels like Mia Khalifa did well more than 3 months.
I don't know how long it was, but I just know when she's been introduced as like she basically the guy introduced her as was big in the adult film industry or something. And then,
she was massive.
Yeah, and then like as soon as she was on air, she's basically called the guy a prick and hung up. Like, just wouldn't go and stay on the show. And the guy was like, "What I do wrong? I didn't say anything wrong, but
just spitting straight facts, bro."
Yeah, exactly. Like it's an unfortunate thing, but yeah, women who have done this before, you're gonna find
look at
it
this,
hard
right?
to find a good
Look
man.
at this. Like me with my husband, who's that guy, I imagine. Then me with the men on OnlyFans. Like, oh dear. See, if you're gonna marry someone, the OnlyFans has to go. I'm sorry. And I don't understand how this guy can sit there and say that he doesn't like all these women who like get a train run on them, but then he'll be with somebody like this.
It's just virtue signaling, basically. I mean, that's a lot of what kind of it feels BAP because I think he's a Bronze Age pervert follower.
Is he?
I saw a tweet about that somewhere. But
interesting.
If you've got, BAP's basic thing is, go to the gym. It basically be hyper masculine in kind of a really larpy way, almost saying, exercise 24 hours a day, only drink milk. Cookie, I think, is a big Bronze Age pervert guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
and it turns out it's like, you need a lot more than that. Like, don't get me wrong, exercising, going on runs, doing
like
all
a
that.
Personality.
It helps, but you're clearly just filling a void when all you do is talk about your diet and exercise routine.
Yeah, a lot of those men just don't have a personality. I hate to say it.
Yeah,
and
they fill that. Cookie's really funny.
Cookie does, but... Cookie does, but a lot of them don't, and they base their whole lives on this thing, and then a lot of them also project this image that they do all these things to hide the fact that they do OnlyFans or they give money to people who run OnlyFans accounts and then fall in love with thoughts. Like, look, is he in love with her or is he infatuated? It doesn't really matter. The point is that he's living a double life.
Don't send her a ring.
Yeah, don't send her a ring. How much did that cost?
They look fairly cheap, to be fair. Diamonds. So.
Like, if it turns out to be a great loving relationship, okay, good. But considering that she still wants to do the thing, despite finding Jesus,
well, yeah,
red flags. But now he can no longer come back to Twitter and then lecture people on their degeneracy and being less of a man when the guy has basically been outed as a simp. A real simp, not like you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this way, you just watch my video on why we need to simp for real queens, because otherwise you embarrass yourself.
I will say that most of your real queens ended up not being real queens.
Like who? I mean, Julie Andrews, she did get her tits out, to be fair, but
in the film.
Yeah, in a film. Well, who did I have? Lauren Chen. She's all right.
Lauren Chen's okay, but
obviously Princess Kate's obviously all right.
Priti Patel was definitely not all right.
I don't. I think she went down pretty quick. To be fair, soon after that.
The curse of the rock thought, man.
I'm just trying to think of the ones on the thumbnail though, because they're the. I mean, I've got a whole top Trumps deck that I still need to play on Tabletop Simulator. So,
do you know of a guy called O'Megan?
Oh my god, I recognise the name.
Yeah, he's one of my friends. We've been friends on YouTube and online.
Oh yeah, he subscribed to me.
Yeah, since 2014. 2015. We've known each other. Like when I came up, he came up. That's how long we've known each other.
Yeah.
As Danger was there at the same time in the chat as well. Like we're all like old school, you know. And he used to be followed by Lauren Chen, and apparently Lauren Chen posted on Twitter once that she went through her Twitter to see who she's not been talking to for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Link me up. Well, join his Discord. So anyway, she's going through her Twitter and she says, "Yeah, I had to unfollow someone because there was big anime titties on his Twitter account." And apparently Megan realized that was him, so she unfollowed him because he was retweeting stuff like that. And I thought, wow, she must be really thin-skinned if she can't handle fake titties.
I mean, it's like if you forget someone and they're retweeting anime titties, and you're like,
it's not all that he retweets. It was probably just what he did.
I know.
You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's like, well, that's what I mean. She probably forgot who he was, forgot what he generally posts.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, this was probably from my anime phase or so. I don't know. There's more reasons than just but I know what you mean. But I think
I don't know. I mean, he reckons that she kind of hit a power level at the beginning. So she used to say that she was a bit of a, like, I'm a liberal, eh? Because is she Canadian? I forgot. Where's she from again?
I think she is Canadian.
Yeah. So like, she would go on about how she was a liberal, but then as soon as she got the job at not the Blaze, where does she work?
Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know. She works for one of the conservative rags. She changed completely. Apparently, she's a lot thicker skin, says Mergu, so that's good. She should refollow him. Hashtag refollow Meg. Like, what do you think is something that's off topic though? What do you think about people who leave their home countries on the right to a new country, usually America? So they're abandoning the old country for this new one, and then they defend America and just completely ignore the old country. Like Sydney Watson, for example.
Well, what annoys me is the ones that say, replacement. And it's like, well, you're playing directly into that when you move to Thailand. It's why Morgoth I have a bit more time for than anyone else. Keith Woods as well, because they'll actually stay and fight.
Yeah,
whereas someone like whereas Dangerfield is like he moved to Thailand to try and shag underage girls and dogs. So
dogs.
He's the dog shagger, isn't he?
Oh no, I didn't know he did that.
I don't. Well, I mean, allegedly for both.
Allegedly.
I don't want to.
Allegedly.
I don't want to end up in a Taiwanese cell, but.
Well, you wouldn't, but he would.
Well, who knows? But I mean, for defamation. So yeah, I'm not great. I don't. I really do hate that though, because I hate anyone though that doesn't live by their principles, or talks about one thing but does another. Like this guy who's like, don't like whores, marries one.
Yeah, well, is engaged currently. For how long we don't know. But like, Sebastian Gorka is one of them. He's from Hungary originally, then he moved to Britain. Apparently, his reason for moving to Britain was because of Blair's legislation, which is reducing our right to bear arms. Even though Thatcher did that in the 80s as well, but he didn't leave then. And I'm pretty sure he was living in the country around about that time. So rather than stand and fight for these rights with the skill that he has as like a commentator and things like that, no, instead he moves to America and he's fighting tooth and nail over there. And I can't take him seriously because of that. It's like, so you've abandoned our country. Obviously, I think he moved over here as a child or something like that. So Hungary's a different story, but how can he? I don't know. I can't fight with someone like that. There's something suspicious about it. Those that flee are just as bad as the library race traitors that stay, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
It's that Mitch.
Sorry,
I love your name.
Yeah, how much do you expect to actually achieve by staying in Thailand and live your life and all that? And I just hate it when and this is what I really don't like about the neo-reactionaries. because they keep saying, "Oh, we're doing loads," and all they do is like glorified meals with a few speeches, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can't like it's better than nothing. Don't get me wrong, but how's that helping?
Apparently, there was this Russian politician that said that in the future or something like 10 to 20 years, because of demographic change in America, that all the whites are going to move to Canada and other places like that. And it's like, that's not what's happening. They're not going to move to Canada because Canada's a shithole compared to America. Britain is a shithole compared to America. And if we look at what's going on with the Latino countries, because that's what he thinks, there's going to be white flight because of the Latino immigration. Yet the Latinos that live in America are becoming ever more Republican, like at quite an increasing rate.
Right.
Like they're actually, and then also the Asians as well are becoming more Republican. And slowly but surely, the black vote is shifting back, mainly males. Again, it's nowhere near the numbers that Latinos are voting, but it's changed.
Right. Are you saying that is happening?
Yeah, it is happening.
Yeah. I know, because I know Trump got a lot of minority votes.
He got a lot of Latino votes because a lot of them also don't like the illegals coming over for their own reasons. Now, for some of them, it depends. You have to ask the individual. But if you think, well, yeah, it's becoming a shithole then, but that's for different reasons. Most of them have probably lived there for generations. Like you got some of them that have lived there since Texas was Mexican. That's how far back they go. So they
certain areas are shitholes, yeah.
So they don't want them. Then you got the new ones that have come over the past couple of decades. They're like kicking the ladder, and also they're like, we don't want those people because they're going to make us look bad because we went legally, and also a lot of them are from Cuba as well, aren't they? In places like Venezuela. Yeah, they didn't move to America to find it becoming a socialist hellhole. That's why they vote Republican. So like you can see why it's shifting. And I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be as simple as the ethno-Nazi or demographics of destiny.
Nothing is that simple.
Nothing's that, because, for example,
it is to some extent. Like, look what's happened to China. It's not. Its demographics are fucked because of the one-child rule.
So yeah, but when they say demographics of destiny, they're talking about.
Yeah, I know what they mean. Yeah, they
don't exclusively replacement. Yeah,
that's what they mean. Yeah.
But even so, most it's like 80%, something like that, of mixed race people.
Hi.
If they have one English parent, they'll consider themselves English. Yeah,
well, me, my dad and sister, we only know one culture. We don't know the other side.
Exactly. And
even then, even if I did know my granddad, he was from like Trinidad, Jamaica, wherever he was from. So like, he's very similar already.
Yeah. So, and this is what's annoying me is I mean, I had a chat with one of the ethno-Nazis. What's he called? Horus. And he's, he was saying, that it's understandable. There's kind of a, it needs to be a place for kind of the mixed race people, and it's like he just doesn't want any more. And I'm just thinking, but
they're going to breed.
Well, look, how are you going to stop that? And then he was coming out saying like, I think Morgoth's right about, we can't have mixed race couples and things like that. It's like,
but he is mixed race. He's in an interracial couple with an mixed race kid. He was on a stream like 2 weeks ago complaining about second generation immigrants in schools. He's like, literally second.
Exactly.
I'm third technically. So like,
yeah. Well, this is what I'm getting at. Sargon technically a third generation.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's really. But
look at Oasis, like Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher. They're second. No, they're not. No, they are, aren't they? They're second generation because their parents are Irish. Yeah, their parents are Irish. Yeah, but they're called Gallagher for a reason.
Yeah, true.
And Noel Gallagher's wife, I think, was Scottish or Welsh, something like that. So none of his kids are English, but they're not English.
I'm technically third generation then, by that standard, because my grandparent was, my granddad was Irish. So I don't know if I'd count Irish though, because they were part of Britain. So I don't know if I'd necessarily count that. But yeah, I know what you mean.
You kind of can, can't you? Because they did move over, so it's They're emigrants, not immigrants, aren't they? If you think about it.
Well, they're immigrants from Ireland. They're immigrants to England. Yeah.
Even nowadays, they wouldn't be considered immigrants, would they? Hello, Sir Adamantine.
I think they would. They'd count as EU immigrants.
Would they really?
Because the Irish would.
They're in a weird position where, like, both people in Britain and Ireland can vote in each other's countries, can't they? And join each other's armed forces. But yet they're also part of the EU. Isn't that weird? And like as Stage is right, like a lot of Indians, like Sikhs in particular, probably love England more than the English.
I can imagine. So, yeah.
I mean, they're the highest minority in the army, aren't they? Apart from maybe the Gurkhas.
Because I think there's a whole thing where they can wear turbans and it's not technically part of the uniform, but I'm just.
I mean, there are warrior people as well, so of course I'll join the army.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of them are based, but some of them are not. Zen, like one of the Canadian leaders, I think it's their version of the Liberal Democrats. He's a Sikh, but he's not based. Yeah, he's not based. But like a lot of the other ones, a lot of the ones around here are. Yeah.
I mean, I think he's even more left wing than Trudeau.
He probably is. See, I always forget they can drink, and they drink a lot. I always forget that. Them and Hindus, I always forget they can drink. So anyway, shall we move on to the Great Dane himself?
Yeah, the nonce apologist.
The nonce apologist.
I mean, take it away.
Right. Do you want to explain to the people who Jay Greenriver is?
So, Jay Greenriver is he's almost like, I don't want to call him shadowy or anything like that, but he seems to have been in AA's ear for 4 years now. He's a moderator on his channel. I think he set up his Discord and has moderated that since day one. And he's helped with any new website thing he needs, such as the academic agency. He's organised the events, including the US one in Tennessee, which is going on in a few weeks' time, I think, at this point. So what's happened is they had this whole event set up in America, and it was going to be like the one they had in the UK with guest speakers. So I think in the UK they had Sargon, they had Poe the Person, they had a few other people. And it's just going to be AA's kind of sphere, people from that just going and chatting about whatever. And I think the idea is to kind of just talk about worldviews, tactics, and where to go from here. And I think in the US it's called Navigating the Ruins or something. So for those who don't know, the neo-reactionaries think we're going into a time of ruin where basically culture's going to collapse. Whether you think that or not doesn't really matter. They're going to talk about then what to do when that collapse comes, I imagine. And, they've got people talking there that I know you've basically got a problem with everyone, but, Radlib, I don't mind. Even I'd go as far as saying I can't really remember who else, but Don the Pleb was supposed to speak there. Unfortunately, as of yesterday morning, our time anyway, he got an email saying you're disinvited from from speaking. I can't remember if he was also told you can't go at all or you can just go as a guest. But either way, Don said I'm just not going to go because that's ridiculous, basically. But the reason he got banned, he did absolutely nothing, basically. Mm-hmm. He wasn't cited a reason, really, but they worked out that basically that there were issues in the background that none of us knew about and none of them wanted to go public with yet. That was until Jane Greenriver went a bit too public. and Don just released everything. So, just long story short, it sounded like Jay Green River just wanted him out. He didn't want him to be involved, be a speaker there at all. Jay Green River seems to just not like him. The reason being, I don't know if it's probably not confirmed, but what's the most reasonable answer people can seem to come up with is that Jay Green River didn't like the fact that Don had a community, had a Discord, had a comment section that was basically pretty. I mean, it's pretty abrasive because they are, they are army guys. It is an army Discord, basically. He's ex-Marine. And they were and they were just basically, they were pretty open about their criticisms, basically. And Jay Green River doesn't like it when you quote unquote counter signal. In Jay Green River's mind, if you like a fucking meme, that is counter signaling.
I can think of a few memes.
Exactly. I mean, this is why AA made a whole hour-long stream about me, because I made a meme, and it's like, oh, that's enemy propaganda. And it's like, how far up your own arse are you? Do you think people are paying attention to you? Like, come on.
No, they're not. So, from what I gathered from what's been going on, is that basically Jay Green River thinks he's like the Billy Big Bollocks because he knows all these people, and he's friends with them. And obviously, there are people who are also friends with them, and they don't like him, and he doesn't like them, and he thinks they must be some kind of threat for whatever reason, whether that's in the if that's within the hierarchy of their social group, I don't know, or politically. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, he's gone and tattletaled on them, and the end result is that Don's lost his place in this conference.
Yeah, and just to be clear, Don did nothing. Don literally did nothing. Because the two things I specifically remember being cited is that he's in a group chat, and someone basically said, typed, "Hey, are you still going to rendezvous with AA's wife?" And the thing with that was, when they said AA, they didn't mean academic agent. They meant someone called another arsehole, or asshole, because he's American. And the reason they say that is because that guy's wife is in Sniper's chat, and she said something like, "I love cuddles," and Sniper was just like, "Oh, I love cuddles too." And so from there, they said, "Oh, he simps for her." And so that's where the joke came from. It's like, oh, you're going to
just banter, like it's military banter. He has no plan to. I think he is married, isn't he, as well? He has kids. I know that. I heard them in the stream he did. Like, he's not interested. It's a joke. Well, and even if it was about AA's wife, it's still a joke. He doesn't have any plans.
What makes it even more stupid is that AA isn't even going over to the American event. So obviously it's a joke. And the other thing was... Now, what was it? Oh yeah, on the unpopular opinion stream that A was doing, he was having a bit of a go at truckers in Canada. don't know the details of it. Didn't watch it. Not gonna bother. But he's having a bit of a go, probably saying like, "I don't know what they're doing. It's not helpful. I don't know." And basically, Sergeant Sniper was like, "Right, you've not got any truckers on. You've got no one trying to defend them," and he was having a bit of a go about that. Fair enough criticism. And that seems to be what pushed Jay Green River over the edge, because Don isn't reining him in, as if Don's gonna like try and control what Sniper can say. Like Sniper would just call him a faggot. So it's as everyone gets called a faggot on the internet, which is another thing Green River didn't like. He got called a faggot. Green River, you're a faggot. So
here's another one.
Shut up, bitch.
Yeah. So so because of all that, Don got stopped, and Don was just like, he made a stream just saying, "Look, I'm not going. There's been stuff in the background. They've decided I don't want to go." But then, obviously after that, he goes around and tries to get to the bottom of it, because being disinvited from something like that, for something you didn't even do, you're obviously going to investigate. So he asked around, and then it turned out he got really annoyed because Jay Green was in his comments of that video, replying to other people, and someone basically said, like, it just sounds like nothing's happened. As far as I'm aware, Don's done nothing, which is where Jay Green replied saying the thing about AA's wife. And that really annoyed Don, and Don's just like, right, he's not cut ties, he's spreading lies, I'm going to go through it all. and I do suggest you watch that 15 minutes of Don just going absolutely off on Jay Green River. Calls him a cunt, because he is a cunt. Calls him basically, he doesn't say shit stirrer, but he basically calls him a shit stirrer, and he basically said that he lies. Because Jay Green River apparently just has been lying. And Don was talking to about, 10 different people or whatever in DMs. And they all had a different story from Jay Green River. And they all sent him, like, Jay Green River's DMs. And turns out Jay Green River just lies to people, just manipulates people, which in my experience, not too far from the truth. I am pretty sure that I've been kicked out of the unpopular opinions crowd because of Jay Green River, because Jay Green River has always had an issue with me, probably because he realised he couldn't fucking control what I say, because I don't really give a shit about the UO crowd. Well, sorry, the deep lore, I should say. I like a lot of people that used to be in the UO crowd, but now he's got a whole new crowd, and it's just full of I know it's ironic coming from me, but they're basically basement dwelling cunts.
You're a very socially cunt. That's a difference.
Exactly. But they don't have very good social skills. That's why they're on the internet all the time. Again, coming from me, quite hilarious.
And me.
They don't know how else to talk to people other than reading through books, going on streams and talking about it. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw it, but I think there was a thing that might have been Settlers Lament hosted it, and it was just basically talking about how Zoom is a cringe. And you got, a few of them are on camera.
I mean, they are, but
I mean, they are cringe, yeah. But they're talking about, this, no cap, for real, with like the hair and whatever. And it's like, these people are going out and just trying to have fun. You're inside just doing a whole 3-hour stream complaining that other people are having fun. How do you think that looks?
The Wojak in the corner and everyone's dancing like they don't know that we're tens.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this is the thing, Alabastard. The network of tens, they're not tens. They are the twos. So the twos bringing in more twos, hence why we're having all these problems with Jay Green River and others, because it's not just him. There's many others that are doing the exact same thing that he's doing to other people. And that's why it seems to me that the circle shrinks as opposed to grows. That there's always somebody being kicked out, but they're not really being replaced, are they? Like, I think the UO crowd has gotten smaller, not larger. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
Smaller. They're trying to purity spiral. That's what's happened with Dom. That happened.
I would have thought that's more of a personal thing. That's the take I got from it. That this is not necessarily purity, but he just hates him because I think it's more of a social thing.
Well, it's both because Jay Green was trying to kick him out because he's Don will probably accept this. He's not an intellectual like they think they're intellectuals. Don's there as a look. I know tactics. I was in the military. I know how how the internals of institutions work. Here's some good strategies, and they're all just like, no, it won't work because Ma'Evela or Spengler.
The big brain. If we gesticulate on YouTube loud enough, it'll change.
I mean, yeah, and Don isn't the first person who's been kicked off from speaking. I know you don't like it. Well, I know you don't like it, but Aiden Paladin, she was supposed to speak at the UK conference. She got kicked off because she went on Adam and Sitch's stream and basically said the whole ab licking thing was retarded. She just said the debate doesn't go anywhere. Like, what we on about?
And also, she's one of those people that would probably quite like those memes, from what I know.
Yeah. So and I don't know. I don't know if you.
Whatever.
Well, yeah, but and I don't know if you watched it. Well, you won't have, but
I won't.
AA did a stream last night. Just all it was to have about 12 people on to just bitch about James Lindsay. And
I've noticed a few people criticising like Scrump, and to be fair, Scrump's criticism was valid because his book is about tactics, but he's not actually suggesting anything, from what I could gather.
I've not read it. To be fair, Scrump was only showing the bits where he's saying these tactics.
Yeah, exactly.
There will be different bits where he's saying here's the tactics, and it's kind of like, okay, I don't, what are his tactics? I don't care what he doesn't think will work. What does he think will work? But anyway, I mean, Scrump had more time for than anyone else in that bloody sphere. But their main criticism, AA's main criticism was basically, I don't like James Lindsay because he's not read the same people as me. Like, why has he not read Spengler? Why has he not read Evelyn? It's like,
Well, they might have. They don't know.
Well, they don't know, do they? But the thing is, the neo-reactionary lot, they bit at James Lindsay. They were like, James Lindsay isn't useful. He's a closet leftist. He just wants liberalism. All this. They were abrasive from tweet 1, and they seem surprised that he's like, why is he punching back? Oh, they punch us. Well, if he punches us, we'll punch him back 10 times harder. Hence, they did the stream. And I'm just like, you've never actually tried to talk to him like a human being. This is why I'd say you don't have social skill.
What I don't understand is why they think he's some kind of fake. He's never said that he wasn't like one of them. And they never said that he was one of them. Like I'm James Lindsay. I believe in these things. I mean, he's already done quite a few subversive things against the establishment in the universities. He's done far more than they've ever done.
He's single-handedly done. He single-handedly showed the world how universities are running these days and how that's really bad.
Yeah, because it was him and 2 others, maybe 3 others. Peter Boghossian and I forgot the woman's name.
Woman, wasn't it?
Yeah. They just made these shitty, crappy, fake essays about dogs in the park shitting and how there's some kind of intellectual argument with intersectional, I think it was feminism or something, and how it links to sexism.
It's like rape in the dog park or something,
Yeah, something like that. And they were accepted. All these bogus essays were accepted, and when it was revealed that they were fake, Helen Pluckrose, thank you guys.
Oh yeah,
they revealed to us just how bullshit it is, and this is what they're teaching your kids.
Yeah, they single-handedly. Well, not single-handedly. Obviously, I'd help, but like someone who can do that is clearly someone who understands tactics. Like someone who understands how this works. And you're there saying he doesn't understand anything.
Like he may be a bit naive, but that doesn't mean that he's not trying.
Well, it's like, okay, he knows how to fight them. That's kind of all that matters at the moment. He might not have the perfect answers for what comes after, right? I don't really care. But when clearly the issue is postmodernism and
he understands them.
And he understands them. But when clearly the issue is postmodernism and taking postmodernism too seriously and trying to take it to its conclusion, despite the fact people have been philosophers have been warning about it for over a century, and then the neo-reactionaries come along and they say, "Oh yeah, we're postmodern." It's kind of like, oh, you just want to take the tools and you want to be leftist, but use the institution. Well, obviously they want to create their own, but you basically want the same setup as we have now, but you in charge. Yeah, no. Fuck that.
I know. But this is the thing, like these people consider themselves to be dissidents and vanguards. Well, they better start acting like it and trying to come up with tactics and organisation and being mature rather than being little high school girls running around fighting each other as opposed to fighting what they think is the enemy. And also choose their enemies wisely and not go after people like James Lindsay who has nothing against them. Like he didn't start that fight, as far as I'm aware.
He's only against them so far as he wants postmodernism gone, which most of us should do. Yeah, but obviously the neo-reactionaries don't.
Why do they like postmodernism?
Why do they like it? Oh, because postmodernism is a direct critique of the Enlightenment, and they're just anti-Enlightenment. That's all.
Even though it's wrong.
You can have critiques of modernism without having to go to postmodernism, but
technically, the Enlightenment isn't modernism; it's the Enlightenment. Modernism was a brief period in the 1900s to like 1930s, 40s.
Sure,
it didn't last very long.
Yeah, and Murgy makes a point. It's like people like DG are unironically neo-Leninists.
Yeah, they are, and they don't realize how commie they actually are.
I think they do. And they're like, oh, they killed more commies than anyone else. It's like, okay. Believe it or not, I don't. But they always do the meme of like, oh, you can't destroy enemy idea. You can't kill enemies, otherwise they win. And it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but no, we literally can't we can't. The whole point is that we're trying to win without any deaths, because otherwise we're just going to go into a full-out war. And I don't know why these people want war. None of them,
because they expect the whole of the world will be destroyed. Well, the whole of the West will be destroyed, and then somehow they will survive to pick up the pieces and form the new order. That's literally they're so lazy that they think that everybody else will fight each other, and they'll just stay back and not do anything. Like they're not going to get conscripted or anything, and then just take over. When what Lenin did, he did not wait. He was sent on a train by the Germans with all the guns and money, and fought the Mensheviks. That's what he did.
No,
he didn't wait for Russia to collapse. He caused the collapse, or at least completed it utterly, and then had to rebuild after a civil war and nearly messed that one up.
Yep, and DG wants to do that, but I don't know how she's going to do it. She's got osteoporosis. So,
well, she doesn't expect to fight. It'll be me and you who will be conscripted. That's what's going to happen.
All right, I'm not being funny, but if someone was like, I mean, no offense, DG, I do consider myself friendly with you. But if you're going to give me a gun and then try and order me around, that bullet is going in you. Like I am just going to coup.
YouTube, that is not a threat.
In Minecraft.
But yeah, it's a fantasy. All of it is fantasy. Like, they think
it's a total LARP. It's a total LARP. It's I don't know if you see it. There was a hour-long interview with James Lindsay. I can't remember what it was on.
I think Michael Malice.
No. It was more official than that. It'll be in my history. No, it wasn't. No, it was some American thing. I'll look for it in my history as I talk about it. But he was basically saying that there's the hyperreal, which is the online world, but it's kind of like the Matrix, and then there's the real, which is the real world. Your family, your house. It's not on a digital plane. And he basically made the point that he's obviously talking about leftists mostly, but he says like, the neo-reactionaries, they admit they're in a LARP, and they admit it's a LARP in the hyper-real space, the Twitter and YouTube and all that. And so it's like nothing they're actually doing is real, which is why they really want to do these real-life events. The problem is when they get to the real-life events, reality hits Grump in the face. A lot of people aren't, the speeches were good. Your speech was good.
Oh, thank you.
But no one's really kept on board what they were saying.
No, I've not had people come up to me and what a network.
Say that's a really good... Yeah. People just went there for a piss-up.
Yeah.
And this is the issue. Everyone's too comfortable. In the real world, we are just too comfortable. The thing is, when you get, you look at American schools and you look at they have the PTA meetings. The only thing that matters is the 10 parents that go up saying, "Don't teach this critical race theory to my kids." That's the only effective way to actually do anything. That's
what I said in my speech.
Exactly.
You can do that here as well. You can do that here.
Yeah, exactly.
School councils are important.
I've put the link in the private chat, by the way. I don't think I can share it on YouTube. So put it in the description, but because it is worth listening to. And yeah, no, you are right. do real life thing, because it's like the Wellington Project. Okay, yeah, it's online, it's in the hyperreal space, and we do share a lot on the hyperreal space. But in the background, we're also trying to get real events done. We're trying to, a lot of what we encourage people to do in the real space. Write letters to your MP. You can email them, sure, but I think it's more effective to actually write a letter to them. Physically, because if it's online, it's you click a few buttons. Whereas if the feeling of actually opening an envelope and reading through it's a lot more personal. And I think that's the difference. Like Twitter's very impersonal. There's a lot of parasocial relation. People know more about us than we know about the audience. All that we know quite a bit about each other because obviously we've met.
We've actually, quite a few tims.
And don't get me wrong. I appreciate that the neo-reactionaries are trying to do that. AA had his what's it called? His basket weavers. But that really doesn't seem to be picking up a lot. And the reason is basically is that you're trying to get very socially awkward people and autists to meet up, and they just don't want to do that. Really, I mean, how many times have we met in real life, Mitch? Like 3 times.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Once, just 1-to-1. It's kind of like, yes. And I do want to, I'd like, more personal friends that I've met online, like, you, Joz, Economic Erudite,
BK,
Pal, BK. It'd be great if kind of one day we all kind of move in the same area and we were meeting up in the pub every week or something. That'd be a lot better.
Coordinate, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
like British Night, when we were hanging out before NOMAS, we were saying that eventually it seems like we're all going to have to move somewhere to coordinate.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens in a lot of these cultures and places. Like the intelligentsia all seem to live near each other and know each other. But even if they lived far away from each other, they weren't so far away they couldn't visit, you know?
Well, well, I mean, what was it? Marx in the London Library, while Engels spent most of his time in Manchester with his factory.
Yeah, because he had the factory, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
did you know he criticised a particular milk or style mill, which is historically known as being one of the good ones, like really humane and like building whole tiny little villages around the factory so that the workers could live there and have a nice rural life. But he criticised them as being horrible and oppressive, and it's like, I wonder if that was
mill?
Yeah, style mill in the conditions of the working class. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
and that's
I
purely
really
because of the competition, aren't they?
Well,
I think you.
Yeah, because I know Style Mill very well because
when I heard about that in my history class that he visited, and then I heard about what it was actually like, I was like, why is he criticizing it? My teacher didn't tell me that he ran his own factory.
No one seems to know that, and I don't get why. I don't like that's one of the first things I'll be telling him. It's like, oh, because I'm like, how did he do his studies here? And that it was that question that made me actually Google it, and it's like, oh, he owned one.
It was his dad, wasn't it? He ran.
It was a family one.
Yeah, he ran the British Manchester factory. Yeah, for his dad basically, and then Marx lived off his proceeds because he basically made so much money he could retire young.
Well, Marx was yeah.
Also on Twitter, speaking of this, banging mates. Basically, oh dear. So like basically some tanky on Twitter was saying that because the truckers drive like, you know, tractors and HGVs and all that, then a lot of them are worth about 250,000. That therefore they're not workers because these are expensive cars, and it's like, mate, workers have been able to afford these cars for years.
They own the means of production.
But even then, not all of them own these vehicles. Some of them are owned by the bank, or they're trying to pay it off. Like they don't actually own it. Some of them.
Yeah, they'll be like on finance, won't they?
And then I said in my quote tweet to this guy, like, I guess the kulaks deserved it then. And then this other guy responded to him said, "Just admit you want to kill the kulaks." Great minds, guys.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, I can see. Just to get back on topic,
sorry.
The right wing is it's just breaking down, and that's why I kind of.
It's always broke down. This happens all the time.
Well, I mean, true. The thing is that people who've been kicked out are a lot more based than Carl Benjamin Saga. You can't, it's the elephant in the room. Why is Carl still about? And the obvious answer is it's free advertisement.
He's still around because he's bloody well good at what he's doing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why is he still in AA circles and things like that?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's free advertisement.
Sorry, yeah. Because he's too nice. He's so nice, Carl.
Oh, yeah, he's lovely. But, I mean, I don't want to make value judgments on AA or anything. I don't want to bitch him out or anything, but just from my experience with him, any tweet he's made about me, it's probably been a lie. He outrageously lied about me in that stream he made.
Do you remember when he called me a pathological liar? What a projection!
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is just our experience. The man did lie about me quite a lot, which I obviously don't appreciate. But I don't make a thing of it because it's just like, okay. I mean, ever since he's done that, I've only lost subscribers. I mean, I'd say, if it's direct result of that, I don't know, but it's not helped. And sure, he got me on Unpopular Opinions a few times, which I appreciate, and I enjoy my time on there. But it's kind of like, look, I get you don't like me. I just appreciate you. Just don't lie about me. And take some fucking banter, dude. Like you've not been able to do that for years.
Maybe he was never good at it, and he just hid his seething and coping.
No, possibly.
But again, like if these people want to be taken seriously, then they better start acting seriously and start doing stuff. Because, I mean, you can't wait for a collapse that's most likely not going to happen.
I don't see how it will happen, to be honest.
No, we're not going to be men amongst the ashes walking around trying to rebuild civilization.
Yeah, because their assumption, which is obviously wrong, is they assume that the normie will just do as they're told. But if they literally come after the normie family, like, of course they're gonna fight back. Like, they're not gonna do nothing.
Also, a lot of them expect us to all be in traditional nuclear families, whilst they get to go around being libertines.
Well, who do you mean? Well, I don't know who does that. I don't know details on that. Oh, I know Red Hawk's an annoying one. That's the pickup artist. He's like, I suppose a lot of them are basically just kind of MGTOW, like, oh, don't get married. Like, there's no advantage to men of it.
Well, the MGTOWs have a reason for that, and at the very least they're honest about what they say. Yeah,
but it's like, I just see that as kind of a weak argument. It's like, you're a man. Who cares about the disadvantage? It's like, all right.
Well, I mean, you lose your kids, you might get killed in a domestic violence situation.
Sure.
And if you survive, you'll be the one arrested. There's quite a lot of issues.
So yeah, no, I know what you mean. Right.
Although I don't think the solution is to walk away.
Exactly. I don't think yeah, I get it. Bad things happen to men. I totally understand that. I've covered it. But the answer obviously isn't to walk away. How do you continue the species? Like, you're not going to make women change by, never interacting with. Well, they don't not interact with them.
That's why the MRAs make more sense, because they're actually trying to change the culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, if you want tactics, talk to them, because people like Freedom Alternative that I constantly shill on this channel, he is one of them. He was one of the people who founded A Voice for Men, and a lot of the tactics that he's now trying to teach people on his channel, he employed with A Voice for Men, and now they've managed to achieve stuff that they couldn't possibly have imagined. So, like, Title IX was almost rescinded during Trump's reign. That they've been getting issues about men into the public sphere. So, like, men's health has become a big issue.
Yeah,
and there's been a lot of charities, independent of whether or not they've been influenced by A Voice for Men, if they know it or not. But things like not Menkind. That's a bloody brand, but the one with the that badge that people wear with the man. You know what I mean? No, it's it's a charity for men's health, like prostate cancer, stuff like that. Like, Benner. Oh my God! Speaking of old school people, there's a man I've not seen for a while. How you doing? And also, Black Lord of Fenrir. Good to see you two. These are old friends of mine. I've not seen Benner in years, even though I see him on Steam all the time. We need to. Yeah, I know Mankind is a shop. Sorry, but like, if you want to learn tactics, watch Freedom Alternative. I literally rip him off.
I'd rather do that than listen to the NRA, because it's like the other thing that the NRA, neo-reactionary, they do have some good power analysis. It's not like they're not worth listening to whatsoever. It's just, the history's biggest losers, some of the people they read. Like Carlyle isn't, obviously. Carlyle influenced quite. Carlyle's part of the reason we view
Rothbard
Victorians.
Thought he was a loser, not like in the bad way, but like was it Carlyle? Who was he talking about? In the for a New Liberty, it was either it was either Carlyle or Herbert Spencer, because they were utilitarians or something. They conceded stuff. But I'm pretty sure that Herbert Spencer went more radical as he got older. But I might be wrong. I think it was Herbert Spencer he was talking about. But
I don't think Carlyle was particularly political. Carlyle just complained a lot about the Victorians.
Yeah, and he was a historian mainly.
He was a historian, yeah. Because the amount they go on about Schmidt, and I don't know why. All they talk about was
says he's just simple bottom of the barrel garbage.
The dude couldn't write properly because the Nazis wouldn't let him. How are you supposed to get anything from that?
At least Spengler didn't censor himself.
Yeah.
Did you know he accurately predicted their fall? At least the amount of years. He said I give him 12 years when he was on his deathbed. And he lasted 12. No, 6 years it would have been. He died in like the mid-30s. So he said, I'll give him 6, 10 years, whatever. And they literally lasted about that long.
Yeah, because they were saying, oh, you got to read Spengler, you got to read Everly, you got to read Carlyle, and I'm like, so, okay, I'll read Carlyle at some point. I will read that, but
I don't mind reading Spengler. Even he actually has stuff worth seeing what his opinions about. Really,
sure, but it's but what I mean is that go back to that.
As Mergut says, distributist socialism is encroaching through the entire group, and we all know who's spreading that nonsense.
Well, I mean, as soon as AA stopped, AA put out a tweet today. What did it say? Yeah, because I think someone commented basically you should stick to econ, and he basically made the tweet that people were less and less interested in econ when it turned out that he didn't say we have socialism, but that was it. We have a managed market that's simulating a free market, and it's basically he's saying people aren't interested in economics because it's all managed anyway at the moment, and I'm kind of like that doesn't follow.
I literally had a chat about Bitcoin and blockchains with a customer today, so
yeah. Well, I think
people are interested.
Right, he means his audience, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, that's because he purged most of them. That's why, and they're the most economically illiterate people. Like these people are because it's supposed to be conservatives or right wingers, yet they believe in socialist economic policies that incentivize the thing they're meant to be fighting. What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Redlib's obviously he's obviously an ANCAP, so he.
I don't get him, as you know.
I know. Well, he's just he's just very nice. That's his thing. It's a bit like Carl.
Carl's nice, but he doesn't like shill people like Morgoth. Whereas he will.
I do find that a bit. I don't know. I don't know if I call it weird, but well, that's what I mean by too nice. He's like, oh, Morgoth was nice to me, I'll be nice to him back, kind of thing. Which whatever.
I guess. But we've reached the hour mark, though. I think you have to go now, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, is there anything else important to say? I mean, I guess I'll sum up my thoughts on the whole dissident right, as they call it. I mean, the group's been split up for a while. As you say, it's just kind of it's finally got to a point where the neo-reactionaries basically they're at the point where I don't want to say taken over AA's channel, but AA's channel is basically full of neo-reactionary thought.
Yeah, and these new post-libertarian types, like Quinones, like that guy. Yeah, they're meant to be libertarians, but they're not really.
They're not at all.
Yeah, we want freedom, so we'll use the state to oppress people to get freedom. What? Okay.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I look at some of Peter Quinones' tweets, and I'm just like, what are you talking about?
He's just a fair weather friend. I think Jim Jesus said it best, and another guy called Dissident. Though libertarianism has these waves of people that come in every couple of years, and they get well into it, and then at some point they change it. And they get rejected by the movement, and then they leave and are no longer libertarians. And Peter Quinones is one of many,
Well, yeah, I guess it's like the issue of free speech. Basically, the only people.
Yeah, a lot of people are turning their back on it, aren't they?
Well, yeah, the only people that are for free speech are the principled classical liberals and anyone who's being silent, and anyone. Well, and the libertarians. Plus anyone that's being silenced at the current moment. They're the only people who are for free speech. Which it's the same with libertarianism.
I don't want to try and strawman him, but I remember Anglo Libertarian told me that full-on free speech is impossible because it would kind of conflict with people's property rights. Not that he was against the idea that you should be able to say whatever you say, but like full-on absolute free speech is impossible because you'd have to try and police it in people's property. But I don't think that's
no one for free speech is saying you should be free to shout the N-word across a shop if that shop owner doesn't want you doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it doesn't really. But I've not talked to Anglo Libertarian. I've been meaning to get him on Laughing at the Guardian.
Yeah, I need to get him on as well. He's a good boy. I didn't want to look like I was misrepresenting him. Because I know what he was trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm not saying like, if that's his argument, it's stupid. It's just like, you might misrepresent.
It was a long time ago, so my memory's fuzzy.
They might have changed his position as well, but yeah, the only video I've seen of him is the one on post-libertarianism, and I
that
really
was a good
liked
video. Was it me
really
who sent you that?
You tweeted it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that seems cool, and I'm like, oh, that is cool. Neat.
Such a good video.
But yeah, so yeah, to conclude, neo-reactionaryism, I think it's basically just the flavor of the month. I think people like them because I think post-Trump losing the election, it's kind of just been like people have just lost patience and are like, oh, it's a bit like socialists, like they all go full communism until Jeremy Corbyn gets in, and then life's crap and they stop it, and that's why we've got millennial socialism, because we've not had a socialist in power for ages. Feels the same with the neo-reactionaries.
Is that a certain Nimitz kind of thing, millennial socialism?
Yeah, I really like Christian Nimitz. Yeah,
although he thinks anyone younger than like him is a millennial, basically.
Yeah, well, he's a boomer, so he's not a boomer. I think he's Gen X, but
yeah, he is. Yeah,
I have a lot of time for him. I
do.
I think he's got a really good eye on what's going on with the current culture wars. So.
And I will just say this: that what was I going to say? Oh no, I'm trying to remember. It was about tactics and stuff. What was I going to say? Yeah, well, basically, I think that these people are going to have a rude awakening. Oh yeah, it was about America. So like these people are blackpilled after Trump lost. Like, well, there's work going on at the local level to stop that from happening again. So like, there's been quite a few states that have been passing election laws to try and strengthen the election process so that this type of shit doesn't happen again. Yeah. And it's happening in places. There's even motions going on in Arizona for that to change and things like that. Like, you should be directing your energies into that, but you're not. Instead, you're hoping and waiting for this accelerationist collapse. Which, by the way, there's a good video on my Accelerationism Doesn't Work by Jim Jesus that you guys should check out.
Oh, no, I might give it
it's not going to work because the state's not just going to collapse on its own.
Well, I mean, I said that before. It's like people react to issues.
Like, it wasn't agorism that destroyed the Soviet Union. It was really Reagan and Bush Senior's policies of outcompeting them economically and building loads of bombs. That's what destroyed them.
And then they fucked it up when they came out of it. Well done, Russia.
They tried to do their reforms too late because the Chinese were reforming in the 70s.
Yeah.
And they didn't get Gorbachev until the 80s. And, oh well, too late.
And then, then hyperinflation hits. Anyway,
Yeah, let's end the stream. All right, guys. Thank you for some of the old friends visiting. It's good to see you guys. We'll definitely have to catch up at some point. Thank you, Haryan, by the way, for coming on.
It's all right. Green River, if you do turn up and listen to this, you're a massive faggot and unblock me on Twitter, you fucking pussy.
Don't unblock me because I don't want to talk to you. But anyway. See you later, guys.
#